Yeah, how's it going, everyone? In today's project, we're going to create a mortgage calculator app using React. Because I don't want to lose any time, I'm going to initialize a React application. Then I'm going to show you how the application works and what kind of technologies we're going to use within the application. So let's go ahead, and I just created an empty folder, React mortgage calculator. Within here, we could just start our terminal. So let's type in npx create -react -app and space dot, because I already have the project open, or I already have the folder open. Hit enter, and in the meantime, let me show you how the application works. So let me drag and drop this over here. Okay, basically we can type in here a sum at the value of whatever we wish to take the mortgage for. Let's say it's 1.5 million, so 100. Let me just not mess up the zeros. Are there enough zeros? 1, 2, 3. Yep. And let's say we already have 270,000, and that's 0. So the loan amount will be automatically calculated, and we need 1.23 million. And we will take this with an interest rate of 4.9, let's say. Okay, now the loan duration can be 10, 15, 40, whatever years you wish. Let's just type in 15 years, tab down on calculate and press calculate. Now we will have a monthly payment of 9,600, so far and so on. So we could just increase this to 25 years, and we should have less. Also 30 years, again, we should have less. Okay, so this is how the application works. We will use, for basic styling, I'm going to use Bootstrap. We are going to use also React icons. And for React itself, we're also going to use React hooks like useState. So hope you're excited for the project. Let me just check. Is this already finished? Almost. And then I'm going to remove my face. There we go. It's finished. And let's get started with the project. Okay, so we have everything in our source. And to do just a basic cleanup, let's remove the test, the logo, the report, setup test, and the index CSS. I'm going to just delete all of this. Now we can npm start the project. Obviously this will break because I do have another localhost up and running, because it's the finished project, and this will start for me on localhost 3001. Yes, we do have a couple of problems because we deleted something. Now let's go to app.js. I'm going to remove everything that is in the div, the main div. I'm just going to leave app in here. Going to remove this logo, hit save, go to index, delete this part, and also delete this import and the index import. Hit save, and our application should be up and running. Let's go to the div, to the app again. Let's get an H1, and I constantly forget to activate my React snippets. So H1. Oh yeah, for those of you who want to use snippets, you should go to extensions and use React S. There we go. ES7, React plus Redux plus React Native. This will install this extension, and you will have all the snippets. Sometimes you need to activate them from down here, because you need to tell React what kind of language you're using, or tell Visual Studio Code. Okay, let's type in here mortgage calculator, and there we go. We should have everything up and running. Okay, so let me close this. Let's open up the Explorer. Now, as I said, we're going to use Bootstrap for basic styling. So let's go ahead. I'm going to open up here a new page. Let's go to Bootstrap. And because Bootstrap now updated, let me make this actually larger. Bootstrap updated to version 5.2. I'm still going to use the old version, so everybody has the same version. And in future projects, I'm going to use Bootstrap 5.2. Now, down here, you will see version 4.6. Click on this. Down here, you will have your CDN or your link. You just copy it. To make this smaller again. Go to public folder, and here index, and you can delete all of these comments. You don't need them. Let's just make a basic cleanup and paste it above the title. So whatever you wish to paste it in here, and change the title to mortgage calculator. Okay, now you should see also the title changing up here, and we can close now up Bootstrap. Now that we installed Bootstrap, we can close our index.html. We can also close our index.js. We only need the app for now. And I also want to install React icons in order to use them. Let's just go to React-icons. Then you should find it in Google. Click on React icons, and this is what you will need to use in order to install React icons. Now you could either stop the server, because you need to stop the server in order to install them, or don't stop the server, but open up a new command. So I'm just going to open up a new ZH. If you're on Windows, you will see the PowerShell opening up here. And now we can just npm install react-icons and --save, because I want to have this as a dependency. Hit enter, and this should install React icons. Now this is going to take a couple of seconds, it should be quick. In order to use React icons, let's click here. Also down here you will see the explanation. In order to use an icon, you need to import a specific icon from React icons, then / whatever type of icon you will use. So for example, this is a FA beer. This means you need to import it from FA, which stands for font awesome, actually, I believe. Yep, stands for font awesome. So let me show you how we can use that. We're going to import up here. Let's now import, and I will want to import a house icon. And for this, let me just show you. If you type in up here in the search bar home, then you get a couple of home icons. Now I'm going to use, where it is, there is it, this one. So FC home. If you click on it, it's going to be copied on the clipboard. Now you can basically paste it in here, but you need to paste it between curly brackets, and you will import this from, as I said, React icons, and then / and you need this FC. So FC, not capital, but lowercase FC. Okay, now we can use this icon. Let's say we're going to use it before our H1. So I'm going to use, not here. I'm going to use it, just copy it and use it as a component. So paste it in here, and you should see, why isn't the icon appearing? Home FC. Do I still need a restart? I just stop the, let me quickly stop this and npm start again. And I could actually delete this one right here. Yes, open it up again. Okay, so it did need a restart of the server, but now you should see your icon appearing up here. So if it didn't work for you, then please restart the server. You saw Control-C in order to stop the server, then npm start again in order to restart your server. So basically we have our icon up and running. Let me also give the H1, let's just start from up here. The app class will also have a container class. This is from Bootstrap. Now the H1, we can give this a class of display-1, so make it a bit larger. And also let me give it a margin from the top and bottom, so on the y-axis of 5. And this is a bit too large, so let me decrease this. Now I want this to be packed in, I'll just show you in the finished project, to pack everything like this. So I need to also use here in the container, actually not the container, but I'm going to use a style property of max width. I'm going to just use 500 for the max width, and also going to use a margin from the, so all around margin, 1 rem top and bottom, and auto left and right. And this will center the application later on. As you can see, it's going to remain in the center. Okay, we're done with our app. Just need to import the form component later on. So we could actually start creating the form component. So for this, we're going to go into source and create a new folder called components. And I forgot an N here. Components. There we go. Okay, next up, let's create the form component itself. So in the components folder, form.js, and this will create a component. Now I'm going to use a shortcut here for creating and exporting a function. So rfce, and this will create the component and also export it. As I said, we're going to use here form. So let's change the div to a form. Hey, why didn't you change form? In our form, we're going to create the input tag with the type of text. And let's also import our form in our application. Let's go to app.js. And up here, we're going to now import our form. So import, also you can just type in form and you will see it appearing down here. Let's take the component and use it underneath our H1. So form. Okay, and we should now see form. There we go. Form is not defined. Are you kidding me? Form. There we go. And there's our input tag. Okay, now let's move back to our form and we can actually close up our app.js. We don't need it anymore. And the first thing that we're going to do in our form is add a submit button. So right after our input, we're going to now type in button I'm not going to create a separate button component. This would be overkill for now. And also let's give this button the type of submit, because we want to submit our form. Let's give this the value of calculate, or a text within it. Now let's add a couple of Bootstrap classes in order to style it. So class name, and this will be a btn generic button class, and then btn primary, which will give us a blue button. Now also I'm going to use a large, so btn lg on it, and a max width of 100%. This is going to take up 100% of its parent container, and I'm also going to center it. Okay, that's almost it for our button. So now if we wish to submit the form, you just click on the button and you'll see this refreshing. And this is a problem because I don't want the page to refresh. I want the form to submit and to calculate on something. So what we can do, we're going to move up to the form and say that on submit. So we're going to use the on submit event, and we're going to take the event, use a callback function, and e.prevent default. We're going to use the prevent default function on it, and now the form cannot be submitted. And just to prove that, let's just click on inspect console, and let's give this some kind of event, this button. Let's go ahead after the class or before the class, as you wish. Let's do it on click. Let's just console log dot log, and let's log a click. Okay, so basically when we click on this, also this should be a callback function. So when we're going to click on this, we're going to have click. Okay, so this means this is doing something. It's going to take out this, so I can show you what will happen. Hit calculate. You can briefly see down here, it's going to try to click, but it's also refreshing the page, so it's going to be removed. And this is why we need our on submit event, and we're going to prevent the default using this functionality, the default behavior of submitting. Okay, we're done with this part. Now we need here a label, and let's say this label will be for the home value. Now, because I would need to repeat this and style each of these labels and input tags, let's say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to create a component that is going to make my life more easier. So let me delete this and go ahead and create another component. We're going to call this component form input and group.js. Again, RFCE. Now, basically what this component will do is grab onto all of the information which I would need for a form group component. And a form group component will contain some kind of description of the input and the name of it. So within this div, first of all, let me give this a class input, and these are Bootstrap classes. So input dash group, and also MB margin to the bottom of 3. So each group will have a margin to the bottom of 3 rem. Next up, I'm going to delete this and start with a span tag. Also, I need to change this again. So let's create a span tag. Span tag is going to have a class of input dash group and dash text. And let's add in here a text. And next, we need a input tag with the type of number, because we're going to add numbers and not text. And also, we take a look at our finished project. I cannot type any type of text in here excepting E, because it's exponential. No, I don't want to save you. Okay, so let's go back to our application. So our button is working. Now we need to import this form input group in our form. So we go ahead, input, and import the form input group. And let's just add one of these groups above the submit button. So component, paste this in here, and there we go. We have one input form group. Now I can use this multiple times, and we'll see we're going to have this as often as we wish. Now I wish able to add text and value and placeholders and everything from here. So let's go ahead, go to our input form group and use props. So instead of this text, I'm going to use up here the text prop. I'm going to pack this into curly brackets. So I'm going to use, so now I can use text as a property. So if I type in here text, and I just add the string of home value, and this will give us our very first text up here. Now, as you sign a finished project, we also have this $sign. Now for this we need to add an icon again. So let's go back to our form input group. First we need to add it as a property. So I'm going to comma icon, and add the icon right after our text. So in here, the icon. Oop, not icons, icon. Now let's go back to our form and let's import the icon that we wish to use. And this is going to be, let me show you here, dollar. Search for dollar, and I believe it was the FA dollar sign, this one. So let's click on it. Let's go here, import, and $FA dollar from React icons, and we're going to import it from the FA folder. Okay, now I can use this as a property in here. So I'm going to pass in icon, and I'm going to pass in the component now. So we need to pass it in as a component. Don't forget this icon, and you should see the icon. Nice. We still need a couple of props for placeholder, value input, and so far and so on. So let's go ahead and start adding them. Next one is going to be placeholder. I'm going to add this one to the input tag itself. So the placeholder will be whatever placeholder will be passed in here. So placeholder. Next up, let's add a value. I'm going to set the value also as a prop. So value, and here value. Now I also want to add a class for this input, a Bootstrap class. So I'm going to go before the placeholder and type in class name, and this will be, so not going to pass it in as a prop. It's going to be always the same class of form control without the E. Okay, this is going to basically give me a bit of Bootstrap styling to it. Next up, we're going to type something in here. We're going to have an event. So I'm going to use two types of events on our input fields. One will be onInput and one will be onKeyUp, because onKeyUp will help us calculate the loan amount, because this is key sensitive. Whenever I type in here something, you see this is automatically executing. Also here, this is also automatically executing, and this means this is key sensitive. So let's go back and use the onInput event listener. And this is going to listen for a onInput prop, which is going to be passed up here. So onInput, and the next one will be onKeyUp. So onKeyUp, and let's also use it up here. Now let's go back to our form and start styling this very first input tag. Start adding information to it. Now the next prop that we used was the placeholder, and for this we're going to add the text of enter the value of the home. Now I'm going to copy this, paste the entire component once more, and the next component will be for down payment. So down payment. We're going to leave the icon as a dollar sign, and we're going to change the placeholder to enter your funds. Now the next component will be the loan amount. So let's copy this, paste it down here. Type in for the text loan amount. We're going to leave the icon as it is and change this to funds needed. So basically when I'm going to type in here value of the home and the down payment, this should be calculated here. Now, but you can see that I can activate this, or I can type something in here, and I don't want this. I want this to be read only. So we can add back to our form input group another property of read only, and we're going to set this to read only and pass it up here as a prop. So comma read only, and now we can use it. I'm actually going to pass this in as set the default value of false up here in the prop. Go back to our form, and if I would now use the property of read only on it and set this to true, then I can no longer edit the content or the value of this input. Now let's go ahead and actually calculate the loan amount. For this we need the value of the home and the down payment. Now let's go up here in our form function, and before I return, we are going to calculate, let's create a function that calculate the loan amount. Now in order to calculate the loan amount, we need to use a React hook, which is the useState hook. So let's go ahead and import from React the useState hook. Now before our function, I'm going to create a const, and I'm going to assign this to the home value, and then set the home value. I'm going to assign this to useState and to an empty string because the home value is currently set to empty. Next up, we'll need the down payment. So let's set this to down payment. And let's also set the down payment. So I'm going to change this to down payment. And the last thing that we need in order to calculate the loan amount is the loan amount itself. So let's change this to loan amount. And let's also set here the loan amount. Loan amount. Okay, we have our three states here. We can now use them in the function. And what do we want to know? We want to know what is the loan amount. And for this, we need to set it because currently it is set to nothing. So we'll set the loan amount by grabbing onto the value of the home. So from here, what is the value of the home? And we'll subtract from it the down payment. And at the end, we will just return the loan amount, because when we're going to set here the loan amount, this will be updated and will be returned from here. So the state will be set to whatever we set it here. So where will this functionality be used? Well, it's going to be used as soon as we release a button, so a key press, the home value and the down payment. We're going to go down to our input groups, first of all to the home value, and we are going to use now our onKeyUp, and this will then calculate the loan amount. We're going to copy this and also paste it to the second input group because both of these should be key sensitive. Now if I type in here something, you won't see here appearing anything because you need to now go down to the loan amount and set its value to whatever we updated the loan amount. Okay, now this is now not working and is displaying 0, so it is working because it's displaying 0, but it will work as soon as we give these two inputs the values. So let's go up to our home value and let's set this value to the home value, which we have up here. The next one will be the down payment, so let's set this to down payment. Now this will still not work because we need to listen to the input. So you do remember that we have onInput set as a prop, so it's going to take in whatever we set it as an input. Let's use this onInput, and we're going to set the input to listen to the event. So we're going to use a callback function, and whatever this event is going to set the home value by grabbing onto the event dot target and dot value. So it's going to grab onto value, if I can type value correctly, it's going to grab onto this value, call upon the set home function and update the home value, which is then going to be inserted here, and then it's going to be calculated. And we need to do the same thing for our down payment. So I'm going to copy this, paste it down here, and going to set the down payment to the e.target, whatever the dot that is set to. So let's say 1,500 and 200 is going to result in 1,300. Okay, so this is working perfectly. Next up, we need our interest rate. If you take a look in our finished project, we need our interest rate and our loan duration. So let's go ahead. I'm just going to copy this one right here, the down payment, pasted it down here, and let's change a couple of things. So this is going to be our interest rate as the text. Interest rate is going to be in percentages. And we don't need an E there. The icon, we actually don't need this icon. Within our placeholder, we're going to type in enter your interest rate. The value will be set to interest rate. We will have no onKey functionality, and this is going to set the interest rate. Now, as you can imagine, we need to go up and create a use state for it. So interest rate and set interest rate. Okay, now this is also using our useState component, our useState hook, and the last thing that we need is the loan duration. So I could just copy this one, paste it in here, change this to loan duration, the text, and this will be in years. Down here we're going to didn't change you, enter the duration, your loan in years. We're going to set the value of this to loan duration, and this is going to update onInput the loan duration. Okay, we need to use this as a useState. So I'm going to copy this, change this to loan duration, and set loan duration. Not amount, duration. There we go. Okay, now that we have everything that we need to take care of the calculation. For this, we're going to go up before our return, and we're going to create a function that is going to calculate all monthly payments. So let's go ahead, function, and it's going to be calculate our monthly payments. Now, as you remember, we set this in percentages, and we could actually add here kind of number, but this will not convert to percentage. So we need to create, first of all, a function. I also created this project in a previous video using only JavaScript. So if you wish to check that one out, then just check out the previous video. So let's create a function that is going to convert whatever we insert into this function into percentages. And we're just going to use here the name of percentage to decimal. Now this is going to take an argument of percent, and it's going to return the percent, so whatever we pass in here, divided by 12 and divided by 100. Next up, we need a function that is going to convert our years to months. So let's create another function. We're going to call this years to month, and this is also going to take an argument of year, and whatever we pass in here as year is going to be returned as year and times 12, which is basically going to return months. Now these two functions will be used in a separate function which is going to set the monthly payment. So we need to create our last useState up here, const. We're going to pass in here our monthly payments, and then we need to set the monthly payment useState, and we're going to set this to nothing. So basically what this function will do is will update the set monthly payment. So let's pass in here set monthly payments. I'm still using plural. It's set monthly payment because you're doing one payment per month. Now the formula for calculating the monthly payment is, you can use it, you can find it on the internet. It's basically the interest rate times the loan amount. You can search it on Wikipedia, you can search it on Google, and just converted it into, well, readable React code. So bear with me on this one. We're going to take the percentage to decimal functionality, and we're going to pass in here the interest rate times the loan amount. Next up, we're going to divide it. You know what? I need a bit more space in order for you to understand this. So I'm going to close up the left part of the screen, and we're going to divide it by 1 minus, we're going to use now a math to the power of, so math.pow of 1 plus the percentage to decimal, again, of the interest rate. And this is going to be to the power of minus years to months of the loan amount. Okay? Now this function, the calculate monthly payment function, will return at the end the monthly payment. Okay? Because this function will basically update the monthly payment, which will use the set monthly payment amount functionality down here. Now, when will we execute this function? Well, we will execute it on our click down here. So instead of the console log click, I'm going to pass in this functionality. Now, if I click on it, nothing will happen because you don't have any input. So what I could do is here, before the return, I'm going to console log our monthly payment. Boom. So if I click on calculate, it's going to give me not a number because don't have everything passed in here. So let's just do something like this, and 1.5, and let's say 10 years, and we're going to get our result down here. So we need to have a place where we can export our result, which will be up here, as you can see in the finished project. And for this, we're going to use, let's go down here. Now before the button, we're going to create an h4 with the class of alert.alert-info and dash font weight bold. Okay, and within here we're going to use our monthly payment. Okay, and there we go. We need to convert this a bit. So let's go ahead. Now let's take our monthly payment and let's pass it into a parse float functionality. And then let's restrict everything that we have after a comma to 2 fixed and only 2 decimals. And we're getting an error because, let me just check. Monthly payment to fix. Oh yeah, I messed up something here. It's not loan amount, it's loan duration. And also this should be to fixed. And I think I messed something up. Oh yeah, because this should be a number. Okay, now this should work. Let me also clear up the console. Let's say 1.5 million. And we have 280,000. And let's say 3.5 interest rate and 15 years. And yep, now it's working. Now I still need a dollar sign here. So let's just go down here where we had our H4. And again, we can use our monthly payment. And we're going to use here the dollar sign. Again, so dollar FA and dollar sign. Okay, and the monthly payment will be this. So if we have it on empty, let's just do a complete refresh. If we have it on empty, then it's going to display 0 because this is the default value that we set it to. So the monthly payment has a default value of 0. Now if we want to set the monthly payments, I'm just going to do a recap. Then we need to set it within here, which is going to take the interest rate and the loan and is going to transform it to decimals and then divide it to 1 minus the power to 1 plus percentage to decimal is going to take the interest rate again and have it at the power of years to month, which is the loan duration. Okay, so let's try this again. Let's say we need only 350,000, whatever, doesn't matter, and we have 20,000 or 200,000, and we have an interest rate of 7.9, Jesus, and we have 30 years to pay it off, and there we go. Okay, so this is it. This is the project. Hope you enjoyed it. If you did, then please give this video a like. If you will, there's the camera. If you disliked it, give it a dislike. If you have any kind of questions or suggestions, please leave them in the comment section below. If you're not subscribed to the channel, then please consider doing so and clicking that notification bell in order to get notified whenever I post new videos. With this being said, my name is Norbert and catch you on the flip side. Bye bye.